Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Spanish tragedy, and today we get to hear from the Spanish king in Act 1, Scene 2. So we know that Don Andrea was killed by Balthazar, the Prince of Portugal, and he wants to get revenge. So that's sort of the overarching theme of this play, is Don Andrea wants to get some sort of revenge for that. But while he and the personification of revenge are just watching, we got to see yesterday a Spanish general share the story of how the Spanish army beat the Portuguese army, how Don Andrea was killed, how Balthazar was taken prisoner by Horatio, all this sort of stuff. And the king was very pleased by this. He gave the general a medal. The general gave him the document signed by the Portuguese viceroy saying that, yes, we basically surrender. And then Lorenzo and Horatio come in with Balthazar and, amidst the army, marching him off to where he's going to be held prisoner. And the king is like, who is that with him? And Hieronymo is like, that's my son, and I've never been prouder of him than I am now. And the king says, go, let them march once more about these walls, that staying them we may confer and talk with our brave prisoner and his double guard. Hieronymo, it greatly pleaseth us that in our victory thou have a share, by virtue of thy son's worthy exploit. Bring hither the young Prince of Portugal, the rest march on. But ere they be dismissed, we will bestow on every soldier 2 ducats, and on every leader 10, that they may know our largesse welcomes them. And then everybody except for Balthazar and Horatio and Lorenzo leaves. The entire rest of the army leaves. Welcome, Don Balthazar. Welcome, nephew. And thou, Horatio, thou art welcome too. Young prince, although thy father's hard misdeeds deserve but evil measure at our hands, yet shalt thou know that Spain is honorable. So it's a little bit of a weird monologue. Basically, he's saying, let's let the army continue on in their path, but I want to talk to Balthazar and see what's up there. And hey, Hieronymo, that's awesome that you get to share in this because it was your son that did it. So then he calls over Balthazar and dismisses the rest of the army. But as the rest of the army is going, he says that each of them needs to get paid. Each of them gets a sum of money, just so that they know that they won something, that their work is recognized. So they all continue along, but then Balthazar and Lorenzo and Horatio stand before the king, and the king is like, yes, your father kind of attacked us, but we are honorable. And Balthazar is like, yes, my father has surrendered. We're going to be at peace for right now. He's taken down his flags. We're not going to be pursuing war anymore. And the king is like, that's great. And while you're here as a prisoner, you don't really have to live as a prisoner. Yes, you have to stay within the castle or whatever, but you can roam around with some degree of freedom. We're not going to stick you in a cell or anything like that. And Balthazar is like, thank you. I will try to behave in such a way as is appropriate for someone being held in such a manner. And the king is like, okay, but which one of them arrested you? Or which one did you surrender to? And Horatio and Lorenzo are both like, me, no, it was me, no, it was me. They get into that little back and forth, and King's like, okay, Balthazar, which one did you actually give in to? And Balthazar's like, well, he knocked me off my horse, but he did this, and so technically I kind of surrendered to both of them. And Hieronymo is like, Your Majesty, if I may, could we just say that Horatio did it? My son, can he just have this one? And the king was like, your argument makes sense. So yeah, we're going to say that Balthazar is Horatio's prisoner. Is everybody cool with that? And Lorenzo's like, whatever you say, Your Majesty. And Horatio's like, whatever you say, Your Majesty. And His Majesty is going to have something more to say in tomorrow's monologue. So I will see you then for that. Mwah.